Welcome to Whole Wheat Costa. We have the beer table set up. We both have some beers, and we have some not interesting or maybe interesting topics to talk about. Tonight we're going to start by talking about Rob and Blac Chyna, which I'm in amazement. I've never heard of these people in my life.
JD just rehearsed saying Blac Chyna about 10 times before we started this.
I didn't believe it was a thing.
So
I didn't want to sound racist.
so there's really like one thing about the story that I thought was interesting, but I don't know how to really talk about the whole topic without explaining the background. So it's Rob Kardashian. So he's like the fat, unpopular Kardashian brother. And he
Is this the one that said they said something to him and he said, "Well, my mom's dating a woman or married to a woman or something."
could be. But so he had a kid with Blac Chyna.
Who's Blac Chyna?
She was like really nobody famous. Like she was like in a music video, and then she like banged like Tyga, like the rapper, and then like that's really her claim to fame. And then she met Rob Kardashian and had a show with him briefly, and now they have a kid together. And now she's suing him, or I guess trying to press charges against him.
So I just looked it up. It's Blac Chyna, BLACCHYNA.
Yeah, well, she doesn't want to be offensive to real China.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she's pressing charges or suing him or something because so now mind you, it's going to get in a real sketchy area, but she's posted a bunch of pictures of herself nude on the internet, and like she's pretty free about that stuff, and she's basically saying that he cyberbullied her because pictures that she sent to him, he posted also, but also that he posted a picture once they were broken up. She was pissed off at him, and she sent him a picture of her like basically with another guy in his bed, and he posted that online, and she's pissed off about it, and she's like trying to press criminal charges against him. I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, she is a former stripper. I just found that out. Actually, everything on this topic, I just found out. Yeah, so there's no need for me to say that anymore. But I really feel like she's doing it out of spite, and then he's like, you know what? I'm gonna do it out of spite too. Like two wrongs don't make a right, but I'd probably do the same thing.
Yeah. Well, so the more of the story that you don't know is that so she, had a relationship with Tyga before, who's now dating Kendall Jenner, I believe. So basically, he's now dating one of the Kardashian group. So then, once she started dating Tyga, that's when Blac Chyna started dating Rob Kardashian. So the whole thing was clearly like some sort of weird revenge fetish, anyway. And then poor Rob Kardashian got dragged into it, I guess. But well, I guess the first topic about it though is like, like it's really the whole feminist thing of like, well, just because she was a stripper and she posted nudes, like is he allowed to like post her nudes? I think that's a tough question. I think that's a real gray area. I don't know, like the argument that she's trying to use, and like one of her lawyers was on TV, basically said like, oh, well, so like if a girl dresses slutty, like you can just rape her, it's fine. I'm like, I don't think they're exactly the same thing.
It's not.
But that's essentially the argument she's using.
So people have seen her nude plenty of times.
Yes, by her own volition.
And then he posted another photo of her nude.
Yeah.
So he's, I guess, like he'd be breaching her confidentiality, but then again, like they're all kind of assholes, and they're all just gonna come out richer from this anyway. So
yeah. Well, that's so like this whole topic is like a little too gray area and scary for me to really talk about. But the thing I really want to talk about with this was, so like what happens if you're a rich guy and you're like fat and untalented? Because this is essentially like the Rob Kardashian problem, right? So he's part of the Kardashian family. So he has more money than he knows what to do with. He's like on TV. He's famous. He's fat, ugly, and without talent. Like the rest of the Kardashians are at least attractive, or like have some, like some that have some discernible talent. Like I mean, I would argue, people have bashed the Kardashians. Obviously, Kelly's obsessed with them, so I've been sort of indoctrinated. But like I would say, like the amount of marketing they do is a talent. Like I mean,
They sell themselves really good.
yeah, it's not like
they have good screen image, and
yeah,
they're recognizable.
yeah. I mean that is a talent. I mean, you can say whether it's a useful talent in the world or not, but it is a thing. Like you have to work to become famous.
They
Like
know
that.
how to sell products and sell themselves, and it is like you're right. That is a talent. Like
Yeah,
they all have like fashion lines, and they have makeup lines, and they just live the life that any girl would want to live.
yeah. Well, that's the thing, and I'm a fan of the two genders more than the other ones, and I mean I feel like if you're so like Kylie Jenner has her own like products that she sells that she markets herself, so she's not just living on the name. I mean, it certainly gave her a big help, but she's not just living on the name. And Kendall's a model, like she does professional, like real professional modeling, not like she just shows up and she's famous so she gets to model. Like she really does the work, which again is like you can argue whether that's important to the world, but I mean, it's certainly not an easy thing to do. It looks like.
Well, it's important to some people, and like it's like the old saying, like if it makes you happy, it's
Mm-hmm.
not wasted time. You
Yeah.
know, and people like a lot of people are into makeup, and they're into fashion, and that's what makes them happy. And the Kardashians are a part of that route of making you happy.
Yeah.
Like hey, we use this makeup. Hey, this is our fashion line. Hey, there's that, and it's fashionable and it's good and everything, and it makes people feel good. It doesn't make me feel good, but it makes other people feel good. So there's nothing wrong with that. And if people say like, oh, they're all talented, but why are you sitting there? Like, why haven't you marketed yourself? Like,
Yeah.
what's your talent? So you can put it down all you want, but at the end of the day, they're never going to beg for a day off from their boring desk job.
Yeah. That's. I feel like that's always. I think that's an argument for all of these things. I didn't really think about that about the happiness part, like how they do add value to the world. But that's a good point. But I mean, I would say, well, one the thing about like any job worth doing well or whatever. Like I really do think like when you see someone do a job well, no matter what it is, it's like impressive. Like I can think of times I've like gone out to eat and I had like a really good waiter, and it was like I was pretty cool. Like if I were running a restaurant, I would hire that guy.
Yeah,
Like I've
right.
had these thoughts in my head,
Yeah.
and like it does make a difference to see someone do a job really well. But no, what you're saying is like one of my pet peeves in life is like these like fat like well I'm harping on fat people, thinking about Rob Kardashian,
don't say
but
fat.
not fat people, but these like talentless losers that like sit in their parents' basement and they're like, oh, all these rich people with all their money,
Keyboard
they're
warriors.
just spoiled. Yeah, exactly. Like nothing
warriors,
pisses me off
neckbeards.
more than that.
Yeah.
And, I mean, some people get better opportunities to start off in life. People to do stuff with it. Like plenty of people get no opportunities and do stuff with it. Plenty of people get all the opportunities and do shit with it.
Right.
Like the individual has to do it. And I don't know, like if you're pissed off and like you think other people like just have it better than you, it's because you're a fucking loser. It's because you're a waste of life. You're taking up air other people could be breathing. Get off your ass and do something.
Seriously, if I got famous off of my sister having a sex tape,
Yeah.
I'd be all for it.
Yeah, exactly.
like, hey, I better exploit this as much as I can, and that's what they're doing, and I'm like,
Yeah.
more power to you. And if, I mean, it's sort of like, it's kind of like voting, like people that like you vote for one party, and then the other people vote for the other party, and then the people that lost are all sore and losers, but then the people that won are super happy. It's like these people that like love the Kardashians, like all
Yeah.
like I'll just say like girls or guys or whatever you are that love fashion and makeup and the Kardashians are their role models. Those people won, and and then the people that are all, like the neckbeards and oh, these people were terrible. They lost. It's just like anything. There's people that are happy and there's people that are sad, but the people that are sad aren't like, well, we'll do something better. We'll do something with our lives.
That's the thing.
They're just mad. They're just negative about it.
That's America today. No one takes that step to be like, oh, I don't like my life. I'm going to make it better. It's I don't like my life. I'm going to complain about everyone else's life.
Right.
I don't know. I just feel like I'm so surrounded by those people, but
it's really easy to make your life better. I mean, it might. It starts with small steps,
Yeah.
and then you have the internet,
Mhm.
which you find out, like, say you want to be a teacher and you're like, that's all I want to do. You can research how to become a teacher all day. You can hear
Yeah.
reviews from other teachers. How did you do it? Then you can start networking with other teachers. Oh, how did you do it? And if you become a teacher, that could make you happy. But there's people like, oh, those people, born with a silver spoon in their mouth, or their parents help them push them through college. I don't have those things. Like, you don't need those things. You just
Yeah.
need yourself, and you need motivation.
Exactly. Like I hate to always delve into extra credits, but I feel like
That's fine. Keep the conversation going.
but I feel like after I've watched like hundreds of hours of extra credits episodes, it always makes me think of it. But they did a letters to James's nephew, like the guy that writes the show,
Right.
about the things he learned playing video games, and like 2 points about that, like two of the episodes, like it just came to mind with that. The one was he
Real quick.
Yeah.
Extra credits make you happy.
Yeah.
You watch it, you enjoy it, so you bring it up, which is okay.
True.
It's something that you've watched, you've spent a lot of time doing, and you talk about and you relate to it. So relating to it on this podcast is acceptable.
It's true. Good point. But yes, so the one was about how he played Final Fantasy X when he was like at a really low point in his life, and there it starts off, and there's the opening cinematic, and then it starts like this is your story, and that was his thing, and you're talking about the job search thing later. It comes up with that too, and he basically said, well, it really got him thinking, like this is my story, like I want to be a game developer, like I know that everyone says that you can't get an entry level game development position. And then he sent the story is he sent 100 resumes out and got 2 yeses, or some crazy number, but he made up his mind, this is what I'm going to do in life. I'm going to do it. It doesn't matter what other people say. It doesn't matter that I failed to this point. I can still keep trying. And the other point was about there was another episode about basically how games teach you not to give up. And the point of it was it's easy to have someone say to you oh, you should never give up, or to watch it in a movie or to watch it in a book. But when you experience it in a game, it's different because in a game there's such instant feedback. So you try something, it doesn't work, you figure, well, what can I do differently? And you try it again, and then it doesn't work. You go, what can I do differently? Try it again, and you get this instant gratification feedback, and it trains you that you just keep trying things. Eventually something's gonna work. And the story he tells in the episode is about playing a Magic tournament and being at a point in the game where the game he thought could swing either way, and then his opponent just packed up and left, and then he looked at the board for 10 minutes and was well, what, why did he leave? Oh, I could have won the game. He's but I didn't realize I could have won the game. So the story is his opponent, by giving up, probably cost him the game because he might have screwed up. So basically there's no added value in life ever to give up. Right. You can always find some way to have something happen that can turn the tide in your favor.
And you always have to remember to be your number one advocate, because I feel in our society it's real
individualized.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna try that again. And everyone's out for themselves.
Yeah.
So you have to be your own advocate. And that guy giving up, he wasn't his own advocate. He's oh, I'm done. And it's you, no matter what could happen. So I have something that I forgot to bring up. Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
It reminded me of this. This is hilarious. I was on a dating website, and I'm looking at these, and sometimes I screen cap the funnier ones. So this young lady, I don't know what kind of man she's looking for, but it's not me. So it's message me to find out more. I love music, dancing, nature, drawing, and reading. Do not message me if you would date a girl under the age of 22. You are into Comic-Con or cosplay.
Yeah.
If you find any actresses or models attractive.
Any actresses?
Any actresses or models attractive. So, Scarlett Johansson, Gal Gadot, don't find them attractive. Yeah. Okay. If you don't love animals, if you watch any type of porn, if you take pictures at the gym or with your shirt off, if you are into WWE, or talk to a lot of girls.
So I just feel it's a really specific Venn diagram. So she doesn't want any nerdy guys, but she doesn't want any non-nerdy guys either. but she also doesn't want any guys that have that find women attractive.
Right. Except for her, apparently.
So she wants like a gay guy that like isn't nerdy, but like isn't not nerdy.
Yeah.
So
I can't.
I don't know. I don't know who that would
I
be.
can't even think of like. I know 99% of the men she's going to meet are just 100% liars.
Yeah.
I didn't take a picture of her face or anything because that's real creepy, but I did take a picture of that part of the profile because I thought it was hilarious. So any guy she meets is just going to lie. And I was talking to my buddy at work about it because I thought it was hilarious. And he's like, "Yeah, you could probably pull that off." I was like, "Yeah, but if we got into like a real relationship, like I'm gonna give her a rock bottom. Like I'm gonna come out of the shower sounding like Macho Man Randy Savage."
That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
What I was picturing in my head was that some guy would seduce her, like lie about all this stuff.
Yeah.
They would go back to his house, like the lights would be out, they'd have
Oh,
sex,
yeah.
and then he would flip the switch on, and the whole like room was covered in Macho Man Randy Savage, like Slim Jims.
Yeah, like I have a Macho Man right over there. Like I could lie about all that stuff. But one day I'm like, "Oh wow, Wonder Woman's looking good," or you want to watch? Do you want to go to the wrestling or something like that? Like I'm gonna give her a rock bottom,
Yeah.
like just playing around.
She's like going down, and he's like, "Oh, snap into my Slim Jim." Like,
right. It's like there's certain things like I can't even lie to myself about because, like wrestling, all the other stuff, whatever. I can lie. No, I don't watch porn. Everybody watches porn.
Yeah.
It's free.
It's America.
Yeah, it's America. It's free, and so there's like one thing that me and my brother and my nephew we all get along about.
Yeah.
That's wrestling. We all love wrestling. So
you should message her and tell her she hates kids because you relate to your nephew with this. She is a terrible person who hates kids.
Yeah, but then again,
and she's gonna die alone. And then, make sure you tell her.
No, I don't even know who it is. But wrestling now is so family friendly. Like they have one character, Bailey, female wrestler. Like they brought female wrestling to the forefront.
A lady wrestler.
Yeah, there's like a bunch of them, and she's like all about anti-bullying. You know, and like all like guys like her for certain reasons, but like all the
because
kids,
she hates bullying.
Yeah, but all the kids like love her because she's about like anti-bullying and like pretty much if you're a kid and you like wrestling, you're gonna get picked on. You know, and so it's like you don't you don't want to date a guy that doesn't like wrestling. Like that's fine and all, but don't be an idiot.
Yeah,
like that's just too picky.
Oh. I want to get back to the Rob Kardashian topic because we never got into the one thing I wanted to talk about that I thought was interesting about the story.
Okay.
So what I was starting to get to before we started talking about how great the Kardashians are, was that
I think it's the idea of the Kardashians is great. I'll never say the Kardashians are great.
I mean, you pretty much said it.
Yeah, all right. But the idea that they live the American dream, is awesome.
Yeah, true.
All right, Rob Kardashian.
So my issue with it, right? So, and I started to say this, and we got sidetracked. What happens if you're like a fat, talentless person, but you have money? Like, how could he ever like actually date anyone? Like, who is he? Like, I mean, this girl obviously is like a D-list celebrity. She like clearly was just doing it for the money or for some weird revenge thing. I mean, it's so obvious if you look at the story what she's trying to do. Right. And I mean, obviously he's like a loser, so he didn't realize. But how do you meet someone in that scenario? Like who's gonna go to Rob Kardashian and like want to date him like for his great personality or like his great physical appearance? Like people are gonna date him because they want to be famous or like they want his money. Like in that situation, how do you possibly find like real love?
Describe Rob Kardashian again.
Here, let me bring up a picture.
No. The words that you did.
He's like a fat, talentless loser.
Okay, but with money.
With money.
You're talking directly to a fat, talentless loser. I don't have money.
Well, exactly. So you might find someone.
Yeah, it's very hard, you know.
Well, that's what I mean. But if you find someone, you can be rest assured that
they're not after it for the money.
Exactly. They're not after your money.
Yeah.
As we record a podcast in your bedroom, they're not after for the money.
No, this is our recording studio. Yeah.
I have my phone on your bed.
Yeah. No, it's a recording booth.
That's the recording bed.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. You had to clarify that for me. Like, also clarify. I'm not a fat talented loser.
You're
I'm
not.
just fat untalented.
You're actually from going to the gym with you. You're amazingly strong.
Okay.
Is what I've learned.
All right. Thank you.
Um, but
So if I ever find true love, it's probably true love. And if he finds true love, it's because he's rich.
Yeah, well, that's the
Okay.
thing. So I mean, so he'd either have to date someone that's like more famous than him, so it wouldn't really benefit them in any way.
Yeah.
Which I mean, he's not going to find.
Yeah, like
Like literally almost anyone else on the
yeah,
planet that's
yeah,
famous.
can't
But
think of any.
or you have to date someone that's like just a regular person. Because like I think you could find a regular person that just was maybe like he's like enamored with him, but not like just all about his money. Like someone who wouldn't really benefit from the fame. Obviously, the money is always nice.
Yeah, like a nurse or something.
Yeah. I feel like you can meet like a regular person. Like I can't think of who the actor was. I just saw the movie The Forest. It was a movie with like the girl that plays Marjorie Tyrell. It came out like I think last year. It was like a horror movie, and like the guy that plays it, it's like a somewhat famous actor, and he was like dating some famous actress, and then he dumped her for some South Philly girl apparently. Like she's like a friend of a friend. But like I feel like because apparently the South Philly girl is just the best.
Yeah.
Throw it out there. But but yeah, but I mean I think Rob Kardashian would have to do that essentially to like really meet someone that wouldn't just be attracted to his fame, you know. But if you're the kind of guy that's like in love with Blac Chyna, you're probably not like with it enough to realize any of that stuff. So it's kind of a shame. Like I don't know, not that you really feel bad for like a multimillionaire, but like I mean you feel like he's probably never going to be happy in life. So
Yeah. So I did meet a famous. I met a couple famous people. One was and I told you this story. Uh, the guy.
that comedian, his name you don't even know.
No. The guitar player from back in the day, but that doesn't matter. Who? Real quick. So I met Haley Williams. I couldn't think of her name
Oh.
from Paramore.
Oh yeah.
Like
Okay.
real early in her career.
Oh nice.
Um, in Philadelphia.
Mm.
I was D and I went somewhere else, and I didn't feel like hanging out like at like a bar, so it was another bar, and like she had like her natural, I guess natural, more natural than she has now, and I had no idea who it was because she
Yeah.
was like her and her band were still doing like regular like bar
Yeah.
small tours and stuff, right? So I'm sitting next to her like real late at night, and I talked to her for like a good half an hour,
Yeah.
and all these like I guess young girls like I guess they like bust through the bouncer or just want to they like rush into this bar and they're like asking her for her autograph and I'm just like, are you someone famous? And she's like, I thought you were just playing cool. And I was like, playing what cool? She's like, I'm Haley Williams from Paramore.
Yeah. You're like, what's Paramore?
Yeah, and this is like 8 years ago, and I was like, oh, okay. So if she ever listens, she'll be like, I don't remember that at all, but I do.
Yeah.
And she was like super offended, like stormed out. And
Oh,
I was
that's
like,
weird.
I was like, oh wow. I was like, oh yeah, I had no idea who it was.
You think she'd be like that someone just wanted to talk to her and like didn't think she was famous?
Yeah.
Or something. Oh,
Yeah, so that I've told a lot of people that story, and they're like,
Yeah.
nah. And I was like, oh, you don't have to believe me. I don't care.
yeah. I mean, it seems like a weirdly specific thing to make up. So
Yeah.
Um.
I was I was the worst D ever. I was drinking at another bar.
Yeah.
I was less drunk than the rest of the people.
I mean, that's all. That's what counts.
Yeah.
But I mean, as long as you're going to be responsible for the drunk driving arrest, that's what people want.
Yeah. Well, so I mean, I walked around. Yeah, she was like, Mitch, you don't know who I am, and I was like, no, I don't know who you are.
Yeah. I mean, you also wouldn't. I mean, if you ran to Blac Chyna at a bar, you would have
Yeah.
no idea.
Oh no, I looked at pictures of her too. She just looked like a regular black girl.
Yeah.
Guess.
I don't know. I remember when I found Avril Lavigne really attractive for a while. I still do.
A lot of people do.
Yeah. But like for a while I was like really really an Avril Lavigne. And I remember a guy I knew tried to convince me like, oh, why don't you get into like a more normal girl, like the girl from Paramore, like someone that's like less like Avril Lavigne. And I was like, nah, it's not the same. But so I feel like Philly transition from that, and now we're talking about the girl that doesn't like nerdy things. A real nerdy thing to bring up. So and I brought up another podcast, as I'm sure everyone's listened to all the podcasts at this
all both.
point. Yeah.
Yeah.
In detail, probably taking notes. But I'm really into like Alan Resnick and different like sort of horror, like creepypasta things online. Um, and do you remember? I don't know if you ever read into this stuff. Like,
Steak and cheese? No.
do you ever like the Beholder series?
No.
So it was like a creepypasta from like a long time ago. It's still around. It might still be being updated some of the time, but it was like before. Like I feel like creepypasta was a word. So I remember like when the first time I read through a lot of them, like they were really creepy. I still find them like they still creep me out if I read them. But it's like this web series of like essentially these like lost objects, and the idea is that like directions how to look for them, and it's like this very formulaic story, and it's like go to any something in any major city and like go for this thing, and then ask this person something, and then like they'll lead you to this place, and it's like it's very formulaic like writing style, and like different people like made new ones of them. They're all like super creepy if you read them. Like I said, even like they've been around for 10 years, and I read them a bunch of times, and they still make me feel like a little creeped out when I read them. I think there's like more than 1,000 of them now. There were maybe like 50 when I first read them. Um, but there's this thing called SCPs. It stands for Secure, Contain, Protect, and it's like a similar thing to that. Um,
Oh, that's my brother's home.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. He's in the other studio.
Yeah, we heard a TV over there. I would make sure they get picked up in the thing, but it's essentially the same sort of thing. It's like this ongoing like catalog of stories from just different like people that like want to write creative stuff on the internet. I just think it's really cool that that sort of thing exists. That like
I know what you're talking about
yeah.
now because my friend Rob was telling me about that, and it's like different. It's like forum style, right?
Yeah.
And there was this one story which creeped me out, and I had to stop reading it. It's about this guy described this like animal is like in a box, and you could look at it, like through the window and everything, and it would move around. But if it looked at you, it would like try to break through the wall and everything. And I was like, and I read a bunch of these stories, and like some were good, some were scary, but that one, like all the detail, I was like, I'm done. I'm done reading.
Yeah, some of them are reading there too, but some of them like so the idea is that there's this SCP Foundation, and the idea is that they track these anomalous objects. So it's not just like monsters; it's like any sort of anomalous thing. Like the one story is about a stack of papers that like every time someone opens up the stack, like it describes another SCP, and then it's like found later. So it's just like different like you know they're called like anomalous things. Like some of them are like monsters, some of them are objects, some of them are like places basically. And sort of how I came across them was there's different YouTube creators that basically that will like do like readings of like the more interesting SCP stories. So I listened to a bunch of them. But I just think it's a cool thing that like people will like come together just like to do creative stuff, just to do it. So let's see
that.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah. So
they're super creepy.
Yeah.
So it's so if anybody's looking for it, it's SCP Foundation. scp-wiki.net, and it's think about it this way: you open a filing cabinet and there's manila folders with different stories. Like that's how you, that's what it is. Like, and you know, just to set the mood, you find an abandoned building, right? And you see all these different rooms. Some rooms have blood on the walls, and you know, there's like it looks like experiments going wrong. Like, you know, like you're playing like a Doom game or something, and then you come to a room there used to be like locks, you know, just think about it like this, like magnetic locks, like thick steel doors, vaults, you know, thick glass in this room, you know, like missiles couldn't go through. And then you see filing cabinets, and the filing cabinets all disheveled, and there's paper all over, there's bones and body parts and everything. But then you come to this filing cabinet and you see manila folders, and it's like SCP-096, and it explains what the animal looks like, and it has recording logs, and then you open like another filing cabinet, and there's more. Just it's sort of like a mix between horror and what you would think like if Area 51 blew up.
Yeah, that's basically what it is, and they're interesting. I mean, I feel like everyone I've seen, and I've probably just seen the highlights so far, but I mean, they're all well written. They're all like a very scientific style, which makes it more like creepy and believable sounding. Like yeah, it'll be like that. It'll be like a case report. It'll be like a very scientific description of something, and then it'll be like, and then be like, and then in the middle it'll be like, oh, I see addendum one, or it'll be like, it'll be like, oh, see, it'll be like, yeah, like SCP-079. It'll be like, and then it'll be like, oh, and then see incident, 079-1, and then like the next thing that'll come up is like, incident 709-1, and then it's like some incident that happened, and it's like, oh, and then D class personnel did this, which are disposable, like people they sacrifice basically.
Yeah.
And then it's cool. There's even like sub roles within that. Like I've been reading recently all the SCP-001 stories, and the story behind that is that SCP-001 is so powerful that it's such a secretive thing that there's multiple SCP-001 stories, but all of them but one are fake. So there are all these like incredible stories that like mostly don't exist.
Right.
So even like in the fictional world, that there's like fictional cover-up stories.
Yeah,
So
it's SCP Foundation.
yeah,
Check it out because it is creepy. Like now, I'm having flashbacks to these stories like they're real. Like I have Vietnam flashbacks
yeah.
from reading these stories. Like I had to give up on it because I wasn't getting sleep.
Yeah, yeah, like the one Nightmind that I've listened to a lot on YouTube. He does a lot of like analysis of different like creepypastas and different horror things on YouTube, and he has like a reading where like this like basically his like framework is that he's like hacked into the SCP Foundation computer and he's revealing SCPs that aren't like commonly known.
And so Kevin's in the medical field, and I graduated with a degree in psychology. So we both read a lot of papers.
Yeah, stuff in that context.
Yeah, basically. That context, that format. So the way it's written,
yeah,
you just look at it and you're like, oh, this is like very professionally done. Like, and
they really all are.
Yeah, and so that's like if you've never read like a medical journal or something like that. Like I don't know if it'll be as creepy to you, but when you read like a medical journal or like an official report or research or something like that, it's written just like that.
Yeah.
So it makes it twice as creepy. You're like it's spot on.
Yeah, like the one that was really creepy was like so in the reading of the Nightmind they did the first one they covered was this like graffiti art that it was like this graffiti art of like a griffin looking thing, and like essentially if somebody came within a few feet of it and like no one was making eye contact with them, that the thing would like rush out of the wall, chop them into pieces, and then like take them back to like his world. And the part that was really creepy is they talk about like SCP whatever -01 incident, and they talk like in very like matter of fact like emotionless detail about like an experiment of like a D class personnel that was put in front of it and like eye contact was broken, and then they made eye contact midway to like break the attack off, and like by the time they made eye contact again, like his feet and hands and like eyes were all cut out, and then how they brought him back to like the SCP Foundation. But while he was there, like the graffiti art was like like popping up all over town, like hunting for this guy, and then how they like eventually had to drive him back into town, and how he's like freaking out like as he's going into town, and then they put him in front of the thing, and then everyone breaks eye contact and disappears, and like it's creepy because it's just so clinical and matter of fact. Like they're basically this guy like knows he's going to die a horrible death, and they're like, oh, this was the experiment, this is what we did, and that just makes it so much creepier. I don't know.
That is very creepy.
Yeah.
Like my heart's pumping just listening, listening to a synopsis of the story. I'm like, I don't want to read that.
Yeah.
And like I said, the way it's written, I would believe it happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they even have like redactions in there.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. And some of them more like especially like this, so the SCP-001s, like a lot of them will like every 6th word is redacted, and so it makes it just creepier. But
yeah, I don't. let's talk about different storytelling.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Game of Thrones, because Game of Thrones. I mean, by the time this is posted, it'll be week 3. But
Yes.
this Sunday, they're starting, and what? Hopefully they mention it, but they won't. In the books, they mention it. In the show, they won't mention it. That they've been at war for like what 5 years,
Yeah.
and no one's yet to mention that they've been at war and no one's made a harvest and winter's coming. And if anybody, does basic math here, if you don't have a harvest during the summer, you can't survive during the winter.
Well, White Walker's gonna kill them all anyway. It really
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
I mean, regardless of the White Walkers, if you don't have food, like it, like all these highborn people
Hmm.
are fighting for this, but they're still rich and everything.
Yeah, they'll be fine.
Yeah, but the millions of poor people,
They're fucked.
yeah, they're all fucked.
Yeah.
They can't defend themselves from the White Walkers. They can't eat. All the rivers are probably like destroyed from blood and
Yeah.
all that stuff. So.
So I feel like this is the time in my life I have the least to talk about Game of Thrones, like because I've been watching all this other stuff on YouTube. I feel like that over the last couple of years, since the last, since a couple seasons ago, I started watching like different, again on YouTube, different like crazy fan theory things. So I feel like now I'm like, even though I've only read minimal amount of the books, I feel like I've like heard so much about it on YouTube now, which I feel like a little embarrassed to admit because at some point I have to like read the books and form my own opinions. But I've just heard the same sort of opinions from like I guess multiple people on YouTube and some of the same crazy fan theories. But like I feel like I've really bought into some of them. Absolutely on Sunday night I'm posting the big Baratheon banner. Stannis lives.
Still?
Baratheon forever. And
Me, it's just Onion Knight.
yeah, well, I mean, he's certainly the second best character,
Yeah.
but I don't know. It really drives me crazy. And I just saw a video today actually, but I didn't watch it because it was 2 hours long, and it was like right before I came over here. But it was basically an analysis of like why Stannis didn't work in the show. The one sort of thing I read about it that I kind of like is that, or like the idea that I kind of like about it is that that they really never spend any time developing as a character. That they just use him for the big set pieces. They use him for the burning of Shireen, which hasn't happened in the book yet.
Yeah.
I guarantee will never happen in the book. They use him for the Battle of Blackwater Bay. They use him for like the big flashy moments,
Right.
but they really didn't develop as a character. So
his armor at Blackwater is great. I love his armor. Like I wanted to pay someone to build me that armor so I can just wear that around.
Yeah, if I had unlimited money to like cosplay, it would be in like the Lord of Light armor. So
what I want to say about Onion Knight, I just thought of, how Eddard Stark, like he's honorable, but he's honorable to a fault.
Yeah.
I think the Onion Knight's honorable to a fault too. Like he maybe he's not honorable, but he does what's right.
Well, that's the thing. I think that's the difference. I think Ned Stark follows the rules.
Right.
The Onion Knight follows his rules, but he follows them as as dedicated as Ned Stark follows the rules, quote unquote.
Yeah, he does what's right for the common people.
Yeah.
Ned Stark does what's right for honor.
Yeah.
So.
I think I don't know. Probably the only time I've screamed at the television during Game of Thrones is when Davos asked Melisandre to bring back Jon Snow. Why the fuck he cares about Jon Snow? I don't know. He like just met the guy. I mean, in the book he's never met the guy because he's off chasing unicorns.
Right.
On Skagos. So why he cares about Jon Snow, I have no idea. Is the first point. Second off, he hates Melisandre.
Yeah.
Third off, he hates magic. And yet he asked Melisandre, who he hates, to use magic that he hates to save a guy that he doesn't know.
I mean, he does know it's Eddard Stark's son.
What shit's he about Eddard Stark?
I don't know. I have no idea. I can't even play good devil's advocate for this because
There's
right.
no point.
You're right. So
I mean, the only thing you think of why Davos was even still hanging around is like, well, I guess I have nothing better to do now. Although he did have something better to do, because to that point he still didn't really know what happened.
Right.
And I mean, again, I guess this didn't happen in the show, but in the book, Stannis says to Davos, "If I die, put my daughter on the throne."
Right.
So Davos should be out there trying to find Shireen. He doesn't know she's burned to ashes yet. He should be trying to find Shireen to save her and raise an army and put her on the throne.
Yeah.
But I mean, the Game of Thrones, the show, has basically become a Song of Ice and Fire fan fiction by David Benioff and D.B. Weiss.
Right.
So this is what we have.
They say it's going to be the same ending though.
I don't believe it.
No. But
so, well, I guess I kind of believe it. I mean, I would say that. Yeah, I mean, I would say that it's like, there's always convergent paths that'll probably lead to the same point at the end. But what I question is, even if the same things happen, is it going to be the same like feeling at the end?
Did you watch the trailer?
Yeah.
Did you see that Beric Dondarrion has a sword and he turns fire on it like a fucking lightsaber?
So I've always kind of felt like Beric Dondarrion was like a Azor Ahai candidate, but I feel like he's never really talked about that much. But I mean, he's been brought back to life a bunch of times. He has the flaming sword.
Like he turns it on like a lightsaber.
His sword's really on fire. I mean, I did see some like people making fun of that like it's literally the same exact shot from the Star Wars trailer.
Yeah, it is.
Like he's standing the same way.
He's standing there, and like the fire goes up there, and I'm like, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So the theory is, and we'll find out soon enough, that that it's Jon and his like 12 followers.
Yeah, he's the last hero or something.
Yeah, and it's like the who's who. It's like Tormund.
I think it's Beric the Hound.
Beric,
I mean, how the people ended up there? I have no idea. I have no idea how they're going to stretch things to get them.
The son with the warhammer.
Gendry.
Tormund.
Now we're definitely in the fan fiction territory now. That like if this really happened,
all like the Davos, like they're all there. Like Davos can't fight.
Yeah.
Like people know this, right? Like Davos isn't a fighter. Like he's missing the fingers on his hand.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you even hold a sword, really?
Yeah. He says he's not much of a fighter. He's a smuggler, and like that's like his 12. Like I guess his 12 apostles, and it's like, and. I mean, it's going to be awesome. I mean, all the battles are going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Will they relate to the books much? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess I'm kind of leave that. Like, I kind of feel like, again with the Stannis obsession, like I feel like Stannis will probably die at some point in the book. I wouldn't be surprised if Shireen died, but what I really think is going to happen, I've been saying this for years, is because in the book, I mean, Stannis is down, halfway to Winterfell, and Shireen is back at Castle Black. Where Melisandre also is, and what I really think is going to happen in the book is that Jon Snow died, and I really think that Melisandre will burn Shireen to bring Jon Snow back. And I really think that HBO didn't think that its audience was mature enough to deal with the fact of like, oh, they burned a child, but Jon Snow's back. What emotions am I supposed to have? I really 100% have thought that for years. That is what's going to happen in the books. And HBO just gave a big middle finger to all of us and said, fuck you, you guys are too childish to deal with that mental burden. So we're just going to have Stannis burn her for some reason.
Yeah.
Even though he loves her, and we showed 2 episodes ago that he loves her, and he wants to make her, he wants her to be the queen if he dies.
Right.
But fuck all that.
And they've admitted on the show a bunch of times, and the books, he's one of the greatest commanders of all time. It's like him, it's like Tywin Lannister, number 1. Stannis Baratheon number 2.
No, I think it's Sam's dad, and then
Tarly.
Yeah.
Then Stannis. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like even if he's top 3.
Yeah. What's the thing? And then I mean the show just made me so infuriating me. Like so then he just like stumbles up to Winterfell like out of formation and like it just not made any sense whatsoever.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, even top 3, even if he's top 5, he would never do that. Like half the men left, and someone goes, well, "Maybe we should retreat." But I did love that scene where like, half the men left, and he's like, "Oh, okay." He's like, "Where's my wife?" She hung herself. All right, and then
we never liked her anyway.
Yeah, and then like his head goes a little lower, and then like. The Boltons are coming on horseback, and he's like, "Oh, they're," and like he just gives up, like, and I'm like, and it kind of reminded me of the time, like a season before that, where he Davos just keeps like not betraying, but he keeps like doing wrong against
Yeah,
Stannis. Like, why'd you do that? Come on. And he's like, oh, I let Gendry go too. Oh, come on.
yeah,
Like he's like, I want to love you, but I can't because you just keep
yeah.
defying my orders.
I don't know. I think yeah, I mean like so obviously the high point of Game of Thrones for me was the end of season 4, where like Stannis' cavalry like smashes the wildlings, and like that great scene where like out of the mist like him and Davos ride up, they have the evil music playing.
Yeah.
He steps down, they just cut that guy down who's running at
Yeah,
them.
someone cuts him down.
Yeah. But yeah, those are good times. And then we got season 5, that abomination.
Yeah, and I like, but I do like when Jon Snow is trying to explain to Tormund about the double envelopment.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I don't want to get he's like, I don't want to get beaten like Stannis did in the woods. He's like, all right, to avoid a double envelopment, and he's like, what? And he's like,
a pincer move.
A pincer move. He's like, oh.
It's like what? He's
no,
like,
no.
It's like he'll hit us from the side.
yeah. And he's like, he explains it to him 3 times. He's like, oh, okay, And it's like he's such a great fighter, but he doesn't know any of the words to explain it. He knows how to kill, but he can't teach. You can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Yeah, I guess they're really tactics, but
Yeah.
the wildlings. But I don't know. It just season 5 really turned me off from the show, and of course it's like everything at once. Like so like season 4. And then like between season 4 and season 5, I got divorced and stuff.
Right.
And I had to like sort of try to find ways to watch season 5, and every episode was worse than the next.
Yeah.
And then like finally season 6 came back, and like I thought season 6 was good in most parts. Although I saw some people on YouTube point out about all the shots of this season where it's like looks pretty summery, and it's like oh, it's a good thing Stannis had to rush to Winterfell before all the snow, all this snow and all these scenes.
But it's just me, or is Daenerys the most boring story ever?
It is. Her. Honestly, I mean, yeah. I don't know. I I heard a comment once about how the showrunners, basically made Jon Snow the main character, and that's concerning because most people, when they read the books for the first time, find Jon Snow to be the hero because he's the most boring and therefore relatable character.
Right.
So like maybe the showrunners just read through the book quickly once, and this is what they came up with.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But as far as like the eventual ending, so I really buy into and just because he's done so much work on it now and like had so much sort of like evidence behind it, I really buy into Preston Jacobs stuff about how the ending will be an anti-war ending. So it just makes me nervous that like maybe the same events will happen at the end of the show, but it won't have that message. The idea that George R. R. Martin's a child of the '60s. He's not. I mean, it was different when J.R.R. Tolkien, was a child of the World Wars. He fought World War One. So in his world, there was a very clear good and evil. The Allies are good, the Axis is evil. This is how the world is. It's black and white. It's very Christian. He was friends with C.S. Lewis.
Right.
It's very Christian ideology. And so it's the men and the Ents and the Orcs and the dwarves and the elves fighting against the Orcs and Sauron. And it's very like black and white.
Right.
But George R. R. Martin didn't grow up that way. He grew up in the Vietnam era, where
just like I think I know where you're going. The bad guys are the politicians.
Exactly.
It's not the soldiers fighting on the ground.
Exactly. So yeah. So you grew up in Vietnam. So war's bad. Hierarchy is sort of bad. I mean, you can pick out a lot in the show and the book about the evils of feudalism. It's a very anti-feudalism show and anti that sort of rigid hierarchy. So this idea that we're going to have a war, and again, Preston Jacobs lists off this whole thing about, this idea that we're going to have, Lord of the Rings or Star Wars or Harry Potter or the Bible, where like this, savior comes and unites all the good people to fight against the evil people. And it's going to be Jon Snow and Daenerys and their babies riding dragons to fight the others. That probably is not going to happen, and it doesn't make sense to happen in George R. R. Martin's clearly anti-war universe.
It would be more the people revolting.
Yeah, exactly. The
Yeah.
people revolting or finding out that the White Walkers are in fact not evil, or
In the show, I don't know how they play that off, but in the books, maybe.
yeah. Well, again, another Preston Jacobs thing is about the idea um, that that the White Walkers might just be basically trying to expand their genetic diversity. And he goes off the idea that George R. R. Martin's principally a sci-fi writer. He's written, besides Game of Thrones, written a bunch of sci-fi stories, and he talks in multiple stories about he has multiple stories about sort of colonies that are trapped, or sort of races that have lack of genetic diversity and how that affects the population. And the idea is that the White Walkers, would get sort of sacrifices from people in the North. They get babies that they would then incorporate into their genetic makeup.
Right.
We did see that scene in the show where that baby gets like brought into the others. And the idea is that some of the reforms that have happened over the last few hundred years in the North, like getting rid of like the king's right to the first night and stuff, and and getting rid of some of those practices that would have produced more like bastard babies that would then be sacrificed and given to the others. That's basically created a genetic bottleneck with the White Walkers and the others, and now they have to attack to basically survive. Like they were going to die off from like lack of genetic diversity if they don't bring more people in.
Right.
So I mean that's a little more off the wall than the anti-war stuff, but like I could see it.
That it would make sense. But what about not the whites, but the others, like the zombies?
Yeah.
Well, not like what about them? Are they just their army?
Well, I guess we don't really understand what they are yet, though.
I would assume that they're just the army to break through the wall.
Maybe.
Because when you have an army of 30,000 living, and you want to achieve a goal, you need an army of 30,000 dead to kill those living to achieve your goal.
Yeah. So, what's that?
Real quick, and I'm just going to go off topic real quick. It's about leaders, and I don't know. Do you know anything about the G20 summit?
That exists. That's about it.
So the G20 summit, and maybe if anybody listens to this, they can just email me and tell me that I'm an idiot. Or
Jim,
explain.
That's listening.
Yeah. Come on, Steve. So G20, it's 19 countries and the EU.
Yeah.
They pretty much get together.
There's be a little asterisk then, because like the EU is like
they have guest countries and everything. And I guess G20 kind of sounds cool. So they get together and they make like financial decisions for the countries, for the world economy, for globalization. And
it seems like it would be a good thing to have, but I'm assuming it's not.
I don't know. Yeah, it is. You would think like maybe right now people don't like American leader. A lot of people don't like Russia's leader.
Yeah.
There's other leaders that people don't like. But if you think about it, like at least they're trying to work together. They're trying to work together. And there's like a ton of protesting. I have no idea I can't find an answer what the protesting is about. They're protesting pretty much countries that are trying to work together.
I would say most protests are about nothing at all. So I don't know. I don't know if we talked about it in the previous podcast. I feel like it was long enough ago that we did about like the women's march thing. And I just went to like every woman I knew and I'm like, oh, do you make more money today?
Yeah.
Like, do you have more rights today? I thought this great thing happened. What happened? I thought you guys did it. I thought you guys won now.
But like the good joke, and I love this joke, is like, how do I show I'm against protesting?
Yeah.
And it's like some protests are like pretty good. Very few, but like they're protesting. The country's getting together. They're trying to work together. You know what I mean? Like they could not try at all.
I would say as a general rule, the problem with protesting is that the people that do it, or I would say that the people that have any idea what's going on don't have time to protest. Right. I would say the people that protest are like
it's a hive mind.
Yeah, it's like losers with no jobs and nothing else better to do. It's like college kids that think they know all this shit because they learned some stuff in books, but are really morons still in life, don't have any life experience. These are the people that protest. Like, it's not like someone that has a valid opinion about something, or someone who knows anything, or someone that like has life experience to back up what they're talking about. I don't know.
I could not like Trump, and I could not like Putin and whoever leads China. and I cannot like those guys and their personal lives, and they do stupid shit all the time. But I also have no idea what goes down during their day. They're not like
Yeah.
Trump tweets stupid shit and he says stupid shit and he does stupid shit.
Maybe he saves puppies all day. We don't know. I
Yeah,
don't know.
but
I've never seen him kill a puppy.
but he deals with 200 issues a day.
Yeah.
He runs a country.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and then people calling him an idiot. Like, I'm not pro Trump, but people calling him an idiot. Like, he did make it to the president.
Yeah. I always find that stuff offensive.
You're not like an idiot.
It is true. So I don't know. Did we talk about it before here? The Teddy Roosevelt quote about the critic.
No.
So that's like my favorite quote. I'll find the whole quote actually. The next time you're talking about something, I'll look it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't even know from like at work, being in management, which hopefully I won't be much longer. I mean, so dealing with, I might deal with 100 patients a day, and then making management decisions, and like you're just making decision after decision after decision, like basically as quickly as you can to like get people out of your face.
Yeah.
And like every once in a while, you make a bad decision.
Yeah, he's obviously, from what I've seen, he's obviously not the greatest president of all time.
Yeah, certainly.
He's not the best. He's not, he's not the worst. There's probably like over 241 or whatever years. He's not, the worst president of all time. He's definitely not the best. But people don't understand that like heads of state, they make hundreds of decisions a day. They have to sit in meetings and they talk about this and that and people bring up like, well, Obama was the greatest ever. Obama also wasn't the greatest ever. He's definitely not the worst. He made great strides in liberal, and that's great and everything. But there's also people that thought he was an idiot, and once again on the same boat as Trump. I don't think either one of them are idiots because they made it to become president.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, and with the decisions. I mean, like I said, like I'll make 200. Yeah, like you said, I make 200 decisions in a day, and I mean, my job's a little less important than the president of the United States.
Right.
But I'll make 200 decisions in a day, and then like, I'll deal with 10 people with cancer, and like deal with 100 other issues, and like then some patient will call screaming at me because I forgot to send them their Viagra prescription or something. Or like one of the doctors I work with will complain about like, oh, my patient took 10 minutes to get roomed. What? Well, you're doing a terrible job, or some stupid bullshit like that. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, I was doing these 73 other things.
Right.
Like, I don't know, I couldn't do that. That thing also. Your thing was 74th on my list. It was the very next thing.
I don't see my job. I don't deal with that stress, so I'm good. I only make like 12 decisions a day.
Yeah, but here's the quote. Theodore Roosevelt. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena. His face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat. So that's the best quote ever, because I deal with these assholes every day who contribute very little to the world and to criticize those of us that do. I feel like I do.
Yeah. Well, you're saving men's penises. So,
exactly.
Some of these guys, you might not be important in anybody else's life, but some of these guys, like, because you're a urologist, like, doc, will it ever work again? And you're like, yeah, we'll fix it up. And like, you're this guy's hero. Like once a month.
That actually is pretty satisfying.
Yeah, at least once a month, you're someone's hero. Like, doc, fix my penis. I can have sex again. And like many men who can't have sex, if they can have sex again, they're like, the guy's a hero. Like,
Yeah, and I mean, I deal with more of that stuff than like the real like serious health issues, but it is pretty satisfying. Like if a guy comes in and hasn't had an erection in years, and you figure out a way to make it work again, it's weirdly satisfying.
I gave that guy a boner, and people are like, what? Yeah. No, we're not in the South. I gave that guy a boner. People were like, "Shut up, jerk off." And we're in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. But it's frustrating. I don't know. I feel like I feel like at this stage of my life, I feel like I know more shitty people or people that I would consider shitty than people that I would consider like positive in my life. I don't know.
Well, once again, most of the people you know are from South Philly. So
True, it's true.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess both at home and at work. That's true. Oh,
So I really feel like if anybody from South Philly ever listens to this podcast, they will actually have a march. I mean, I even have a bigger front yard than them, so they can come over and march. But
true.
they need a license first because they have to get over the bridge and they have to drive like.
Yeah, so it'll never happen.
We're gonna have a march in South Philly. All right, cool.
Yeah, South Philly people are opposed to bridges.
Yeah. So, and that's this week's whole wheat Costa.
That's what we ended on. South Philly people are opposed to bridges.
Yeah, they are.
Fine.